Okay guys, so I'm going to be fully honest with you. I had everything ready, everything set up. So I had the lights on, I had the camera set up, the backsplash screen, everything was in place. I was ready to hit record. And then I thought to myself, hold on a second, that's not the right set for this type of video, is it? So you know what, just follow me to the launch corner where you can have a more intimate conversation, because this is too big, this is too important. Oh yeah, that's better already, because this isn't just about code, it's about building a solution that's going to set you apart, and that way you can charge proper money. Look, let's be honest, most freelancers are stuck in a loop. They provide web design services, they install WordPress, a page builder, and in the end, all the websites look the same, and they hope to charge maybe $500 in the end, you know. But there's a better way to do this, one that gives you more control, better results, and also the confidence to charge what your work is worth. And for this, we're going to use WordPress in the backend, where we can upload all our different listings. So for this, we're going to create custom post types and also advanced custom feeds to create all the property details. And for the front end, obviously, we are not going to use WordPress, but instead we're going to build everything from scratch. And for this, I'm going to show you how you can build the main structure of your website using HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So just to show you how this works, we are going to build a real estate website together, but obviously this applies to any type of website you wish to build. So we're going to create a property.html to show your single properties. I'm going to show you how to display all the different categories. So for instance, to display all the different villas, maybe all the different bungalows, and obviously all of this is fetched dynamically from WordPress. So for this, we need to use JavaScript, and we are going to use the REST API, as you can clearly see here, using a specific slug. So this is our JavaScript file for the properties, and we'll do the same for the different categories. And obviously, to jazz this up in the front end, we are going to use CSS as well. And this is not a simple copy and paste. We're going to code every single line ourselves, and I'm going to explain everything as we go through the whole process. We're going to make a lot of mistakes as well, but don't worry, we are going to learn from it. So what I want you to take from this video is the learning process, how to build that yourself, make it your own, so that you can charge proper money. And once you've learned how it works, I'm going to show you how you can use an existing template like a HTML and CSS template that you can download online, and how you can bring dynamic content into it using REST API. And by the end of this video, you'll have a full solution, a full system in place that you can easily charge $5,000 for. So let's get started. Sorry, I forgot. At the end of the video, I'm also going to show you how to sell this like a pro. So stick till the end. Okay, now let's get started. Okay guys, so step number one is to install WordPress on a server. So for this, we are going to use Hostinger. But again, feel free to use any hosting provider that you want. Now, if you want to save a load of money, you can use Hostinger. We have a special offer with them. As you can see, you can save up to 75% off on all the hosting plans with them. And to access this dedicated landing page that we have with Hostinger, simply click on the link in the description below where it says Get Hosting Now. As you can see, you can save up to 75% off on all the hosting plans with them. So that means you'll pay only $2.99 per month, which is a super, super handy offer. So now there's 3 different plans you can choose from. We have Premium, Business, and Cloud Startup. And as you can see, this one starts at just $2.99. Now, there's a lot of free stuff as well with them. You know, you get a free domain name valued at $9.99, unlimited bandwidth, weekly backup or daily backup. It depends which plans you're using, obviously, you know. Free SSL certificate, and here's the beauty, is unlimited amount. So if you're building websites for clients, you don't have to pay for your SSL certificates. So this is not too shabby, to be honest, you know. Now you can select any of those plans as you see fit. As you can see, this one is up to 25 websites, up to 50, up to 100. So choose any of those plans, and you'll be redirected to your shopping cart. So this is where you can select your billing cycle. So as you can see, by default, you will select 48 months. But you can narrow this down to maybe 24, maybe 12. This is really up to you. So the biggest saving you can get is on the 48 months plan. As you can see here, you save $432, which is 75% discount. Now, on top of this, I have a coupon code as well. So right here, if you type Mr. Web all in capital letters and click apply, you're going to save an extra 10% on top. As you can see, 85% in total. So after this, simply click continue and proceed to checkout. And immediately after this, you'll be redirected to this onboarding process, which will allow you to install WordPress in just a few clicks, which is super handy, you know. So simply select your language, email address, and password, then next. So what sort of website do you want to build, create with AI or pre-built with theme? So I'm going to use this one here. So next. So it's going to ask you for a theme, a template that you can select. We're not going to use a template. We're going to use a theme altogether. So I'll select this. And the one we're going to select is the default one, 2025, that comes with WordPress. Okay, so next. So now obviously everything will be managed in the front end with HTML and CSS. So we don't need any of those. So next. And now you can register your domain name. So again, it's completely free for the first year. So it's worth $9.99. Super handy, obviously, you know. So here, simply type the domain name that you'd like to register. So I'm going to type maybe Mr. Web 5,000 USD, okay, and see if it's available. Excellent, and as you can see, this is available in different extensions as well. So you can select .de, .es, .eu, .in, .io. As you can see, loads of extensions, including .com, obviously, which is the most popular one. So I'll select any of those that you want to register. So I'm going to go with .com maybe. This is the most popular one, obviously, you know. And then after this, all you have to do is click next. Excellent. So welcome to our WordPress dashboard. So now we need to install a couple of plugins. So we go to plugins, add new. So the first one we need is custom post type. So just type custom post type. So there it is. And make sure it's from Web Dev Studio. Sorry. So install and then activate. Very good. And now we're going to install another one. So we go back to plugins, add new. And this one is advanced custom field. Very good. So this is the very first one here from WP Engine. So install. And again, activate. Now, because we're only using the backend for the data and everything like this, we don't need the caching plugin. We don't need all the tools here. So what we can do is basically disable them. Okay, so select, 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 select. And now disable, deactivate, apply. Very good. And if you want, we can even delete them all together. No, that's really up to you. So I'm just going to leave them for now. And then now we can start building our main structure. So for this, we're going to use custom post type. I'm going to add a tab here that's going to call properties in the menu section. Okay, so CPT UI and add edit post. So we're going to create a new one altogether. So this one is going to be called properties. Plural, just like this. Because it's a slug, it's all in lowercase. And then we need to add the plural label in singular. So plural will be properties with a capital P and then property for singular. And then scroll down. So the menu name, I suppose we can add properties, add new property, maybe just like this. Okay. The same for the add new item here. So Control C, Control V, maybe add new for add new. And then add new item, add new property. Okay. So edit item. So I'm just going to copy this here, Control C. So edit property here, new property, view, maybe properties, plural. And for, singular and plural, sorry, view property and view properties here. Plural, okay, just like this. And then search properties, it will be plural then. And then for not found, I'm going to add maybe no properties found and then no properties found in trash. Okay. And let's make sure the menu item, we have it right. Properties, that's perfect here. So let's scroll down the page. So right here, you have this section here, all the settings. This is one of the most important one. Make sure that the public is set to true. That means that you can query it. Obviously, you know, here set to true as well. And the most important one is this one, show in REST API. Make sure this one is set to true as well. So the next one is has archive true as well. And then for the custom rewrite slug, let's make sure that we add properties here as well. And then now let's make sure we copy this one as well for the REST API base slug, which is this one here, Control V properties as well. And then we go to support here. And here, make sure that you select title, editor, featured image, and also custom fields, which we are going to create now. Okay, so scroll down the page. And in the taxonomies, yeah, that's really up to you if you want to make use of those. So this is part of the WordPress core, obviously, so you can use categories and tags. So it doesn't harm us anyway. So add post type. Very good. And now, as you can see by the side, we have properties, all properties, add new properties. And obviously, we have our taxonomies here, categories and tags as well. So that's up and running now. So now if we click on add property, as you can see, this is completely empty. So we need to add a few fields, obviously. So we go to advanced custom fields, a field group, and then add a field group. So let's give it a name. So maybe property details, and then we can start adding our field. So the first field, I suppose, is the price. So this should be normally a number. So let's call it price. Okay. So clearly we need the price to know how much the property cost. What else do we need? How many bedrooms maybe? Number, so bedrooms. And then let's add another one. So this one will be maybe bathrooms as well. So this is an amount, so this is a number. So bathrooms, there you go. And then what do we need? The area maybe, how big is the property? This is a number as well. So area, maybe in square meters or something like this, you know. There you go, perfect. And then what else do we need? Maybe picture gallery or something like this, okay? So we can select here. So you have images and the gallery, as you can see, this is only part of the pro version. So if you want to acquire the pro version, feel free to use this. I'm just going to use image for now, okay? So I'm going to put gallery. There you go. And then what else do we need? Maybe a map as well, okay? Map, embed. This will be a map embed. So let's see if you can fetch this from here. On the free version, where is it now? Did I miss this? No, Google Maps here. Then let's call this one map embed. Okay, just like this, perfect. So I think we have all our fields, and now we need to set this to our properties here. Obviously, so post type is equal to, and I'm going to say property, save changes. Very good. So if we go back to properties, add a new one, and as you can see, we do have the price, bedroom, bathroom, area, gallery, etc., etc. And by the side, we have categories and tags as well. So let's go back here for a minute. So when it comes to listing properties, I suppose instead of having categories and tags, maybe we could have a property type and maybe the location as well instead, you know, which would make more sense. Now, this is just to show you the ropes and how it works. So maybe you can cancel this one out, okay? So we can go back here and edit, and then edit the post type. If you scroll down the page, remember we enabled this. So we might want to disable this, save post type. If you go back here, as you can see now, we only have all properties and add new property. And now we're going to add our own taxonomies, okay? So add and edit. So here we can add a taxonomy called locations, just like this, okay? So we're going to add the plural one, and singular is maybe location. And then make sure that you select properties. So this will be attached to the post type properties here underneath this section. And then scroll down the page, and here feel free to add the same features we had, you know, the menu name. So this should be locations, and then the same for all items, edit items, etc., etc. So and then after this, make sure that again it is available in REST API, true, and also right here on top that it is made public as well. So scroll down the page and add taxonomy, and now we can do the same with property types. So property types, we're going to add this in plural and singular, so property type, add this to properties, and right here again add all these different titles, you know, edit, view, etc., etc. The most important part here is to make sure it's made public and also available in the REST API. Scroll down and add taxonomy. Very good. So let's go back to properties, and you can see now we have the property types and also the locations. So let's add a few different property types. So usually what do we have? Maybe villas. We could have maybe bungalows. We could have maybe farmhouses, maybe detached houses, semi-detached. And maybe terraced house as well. There you go. So let me change this to houses here, plural. Okay, perfect. So this is good. So we have our different types. And let's add a few locations. So I'm going to add maybe Dublin, Cork, Galway, Kerry, and maybe Donegal and Sligo. Okay, just a few examples here. So we have our different locations, and why not lovely Leitrim as well while we're at it. Okay, so this is how you do so. Very good. So before we can work on the front end, obviously we have to create one property at least. So add new property, and to save us a little bit of time, I'm going to create that very quickly here. So I just looked it up online. I found a property. It's a lovely property actually. You know, this is the address, this is the price, how many bedrooms, bathroom, etc., etc. And then the iframe for Google Maps. So I'm going to publish this, publish. Okay, perfect. So we can go back here now, and now we can take care of our front end and display all these properties. Okay, so let's go ahead with this now. Excellent. So for this, we have VS Code open on one side. So feel free to download this. I have this in the description below. Okay, so Visual Studio Code. And on the other side, we have Google Chrome opened. So we need one tab at least. So I have my website open at the moment. Okay, so Mr. Web right here. So from there, we're going to open a new folder. So I've created a folder already that's called Real Estate Website. So you can open it, you know, open your folder and then select. and it will show up here by the side. So if this is not showing here by the side, you can use the icon here to show and display it or hide it. That's really up to you, okay? So now we can create our structure. So what we need is a few HTML files. We also need a bit of CSS to jazz this up, and obviously some JavaScript. So we can create a few folders first, okay? So we click on folders here. So the first one would be JS for JavaScript. And we can create another one that's going to be called CSS for the CSS files, okay? And now we can create a file in the root folder. So which file are we going to create? Is going to be HTML, okay? So we are going to have to display the home page. So this should be normally index.html. Then we have the properties we want to show as a single page property, and maybe the category as well if you want to show all the bungalows, maybe all the villas and something like this, okay? So we can create a few files. So we can create the files now, okay? So create, and let's call this one index.html. We can have another one that's going to be called category.html. And then we can have a third one that would be called maybe property for the single landing page for the property itself. So property.html, just like this, okay? So we can work on one of them, any of them, it doesn't matter really, you know. Okay, so let's get started with this. So this is doc type HTML, so language English. Okay, so we're going to add the head. Perfect, going to keep it like this. So I'm going to close the head here. And then now we need to add the body. So we're going to select this. Okay, no problem. So obviously we don't need all of this. So what I'm going to do is basically delete this, okay? And we're going to insert whatever we want in the middle. So what I'm going to add now is basically a div and with an ID, okay? So hashtag, let's call it property maybe, okay? Property. And then that's basically it, okay? So just like that. And then we're going to insert a script to link this to our actual JavaScript, okay? So instead of this, we're going to put /JS. And what we're going to call it, maybe property.js. Let's keep it simple, okay? There you go. And then we're going to close the body here. So there you go, closing statement. So that's it. So we can save this for now, okay? Save. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit. I think this is maybe too small, you know. Okay, just like that. This is maybe a little bit better for you guys. So now we're going to create a different file. So obviously we need the property.js. So if you go to JS here, create a new file. So property.js. And now we can work on this one and fetch the information from the backend and display it in the front end, obviously, you know. Okay, so first we want to make sure that it's working fine. So we're going to have a console log, console, and then .log. And here we're going to have a message, you know, a simple message. Let's say maybe property JavaScript is loaded. That's fine, okay? We'll just keep it like this for now and just save for now. And then we can go back to our property.html and we're going to go live and test it in the front end, okay? So go live. There you go. As you can see, it's opened here. So right click and then inspect and let's go to console. And we have a problem already, so that's great. Why? It's because we don't have any style sheet CSS at the minute, so I can just remove this line altogether, you know, and then save, and there you go. So property.js is loaded, and this is the confirmation that our JavaScript is working alongside our property.html file. So that's good. That's a good sign already. So now we can continue working on our JavaScript file here. So what we need next, obviously, is to get the property slug. So for instance, if we have like the one we created, so let me go back here and open it. So if you go back to properties and quick edit, as you can see, this is the slug basically, you know. So we need to fetch that slug first in order to be able to display it in the front end. So let's do that. So let's put a note here. So get property slug first. So this is a function. And as you can see, it's going to suggest this here, but window.location.href is not going to do it for us. So what we're going to do is to create a constant. Let's call it params. So that's fine. And then now we need to return that, obviously, you know. So return param get slug. Yeah, that's perfect. This, and then we can close this. Okay, so this is perfect. So let's move on to the next one. So next, I suppose we need to fetch the property. Okay, so fetch property from the slug. So from slug using REST API. So we know exactly what it is that we do. Okay, and then we're going to fetch this. So async function and then fetch property by slug. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. And right here, we need to fetch the actual URL here, okay? So I'm going to change this. I'm going to keep just the first line here all together. And then everything else we can delete because we're going to replace that with our own lines of code, okay? So instead of HTTPS, API.example, we're going to use cms.learnwithmrweb.com/properties, etc., etc. Okay, so let me replace this with the actual line here. So I'm just going to copy our own URL. So Control C and replace it here. Okay, so let's move this here, Control V. So there you go. So as you can see, now we have HTTPS, CMS learnwithmrweb.com. And because this is WordPress, this is the actual way you have to formulate it, you know, WJSON, WP, V2, and then the slug you want to use at the end. So for us, it's going to be properties, ? And then the slug that goes with it. Okay, very good. So now we have this twice here, so that's not right. Now we need to make sure that the response is positive to us. So we're going to create constant, let's call it data awaits JSON. That's fine. Okay, now I need to make sure that the array has at least one item. So I'll return the first one, and if it's empty, then return null. So we can delete this for now. And then right here, we're going to change this to data.length and then superior to 0. Otherwise, let's return null. Okay, there you go. That's perfect now. Very good. Oh, I noticed there's something wrong. It's not fetch. It should be get here. Get property. Sorry, get property by slug. Yeah. Okay, so now we need to load the property and display it. So load property details and display it. Okay, just like this on display on page. That's fine. So again, async function. So async. And then we're going to load the property. Okay, so function, this is fine. And then load, and I'm going to call this single property. So we know exactly what this is. Okay. And right here, we're going to create a constant again. So container equals document.query selector. Okay, so we're going to call this one here get element by ID, obviously, you know, so get element by ID, and which element exactly. So this one is going to be just property. Okay, just like that. So let's delete this. Perfect. So now we need also this one should be actually fine. And then obviously we need to return an error message if there's nothing. So let's create a condition. So if there's no slug. Okay, that's perfect. So property not found. So this could be our error message. Yeah, that sounds good. Perfect. So we have our constant slug here. So get property slug from URL. And now we need to do the same, obviously, with our property, which is this one here. So constant property await get property by slug. Yeah, that's correct. And then the same principle as here. If there's no property, we need to show an error message. So let's agree with this. And I think that's enough for now. Okay. So let me save this. And as you can see, we still have nothing displaying here. So let's carry on with the rest. So now we need to create a constant for the whole property. As you can see, constant property HTML. Let's give it another name. Okay. So I'm just going to call it constant. And then we're going to define what goes in it. Okay. So we'll have the title. What else? We need the content, obviously, as well. Everything that's related to ACF, advanced custom fields, and our links. Okay, link. And all of this creates our property. Okay. And now we can add what we want to actually display in the front end. So let's call this one container and inner HTML. Okay, equals. And then inside here, we're going to enter a few details. As you can see, it's going to suggest all of this. So let's agree with all that for now. Okay, so we can try this. Why not? And then after this, let's close this statement here. And then finally, we need to return. So we're going to load the property itself. Okay, so load. The closing statement here. So let's save this. Okay, so semicolon, there you go. So save. So let's go to the front end. Obviously, there's nothing displaying here. I'd like to know why. Unexpected token at line 19. Okay, so line 19 now. Where are we now? 19. Oh, yeah, I closed this statement here. I shouldn't have. And then now it's correct. Okay, let's save. See what happens. Console. Unexpected token at line 19. He's telling me the same thing. What have I done now? Async. That's open. Yeah, that's a function. Load property. And then we close it here. So that's correct. What's wrong here? Let me see now. Oh, get element by capital letters. And here as well. Okay. We're going a bit too fast here. You see? And then save. Property not found. Okay, so that's a good sign. So there's something happening now. So let's see what's happening in the console. So the property was loaded, so there's progress, but obviously we've defined that we are going to fetch this via the slug, obviously, you know. So as you can see, it's properties, question mark, slug equals, and then something. So let's fetch the slug again. So this one is called Mary's Bridge Tolley Castle Goal. I'm going to go here and enter question mark, slug equals Mary's Castle Ball or goal. Okay, there you go. And as you can see, it's not displaying anything, but I don't think we have any error message. Okay, so it says here, reading URL is loading single property, line 41 to 48. Okay, so let's fix that. Okay, so let's have a look here. So line 41 to 48. Okay, so that's basically the inner container here. So no problem, you can customize this and change it, obviously, you know. So I don't think the image is actually the right way to fetch it. So we can change this, no problem. So let's change all the content here. So based on what we created, remember with advanced custom fields, we had the price, and it's called price, bedrooms, bathroom, area, and the property gallery. So that's the image. It's called gallery. Okay, so now we can insert this properly now. So this one, instead of a property image URL, that's called gallery. So here normally we should have the price, the location. So we can copy this basically. Okay, so what we have now? We had bathrooms as well. So bedrooms, bathrooms. What else did we have now? The area, wasn't it? Yeah, area, I think. Yeah, that's it. And now we can change the names here. So ACF, this one is going to be price. Okay, so we can keep the beginning here. Price, we had location was location. Okay, just like this. Bedrooms, what bedrooms? Bedrooms. And here we have bathrooms as well. So bathrooms. And then the area was acf.area. Okay, just like this. So let's save this, see what happens. Okay, so the all undefined is not fetching anything. So let's crack the code fast. So here's only one. And let's space this up properly. Space here, space there, space there, space there. And obviously there's no changes. So there's something else. So let's go back to our WordPress backend. Okay, so all our details are here, including the picture. So it should display normally. So there's something else. So let's go to ACF, property details, and make sure that the REST API is activated. Ah, there you go. So that wasn't saved. So save changes. And now this should work. Now if you go back here and then save this again, there you go. So now we still have two undefined fields here, so area and location. So let's go back to our website and find out why. So here, what do we have? Oh, area square meter. So we can copy this, and location is locations plural. Okay, so let's fix this. So we said locations plural, and area should be normally area underscore square meter. Okay, and then save, see what it looks like. So everything is there except the location. So why is that now? Oh yes, of course, the location is not ACF. It's part of the WordPress coordinates. So we need to define this, obviously, you know. So we're not going to linger too much on this. I'm just going to insert the code here, okay, and then change this here to this variable. So location name. So location is here. So replace that. Okay, so location name. So save, and there you go. So this is showing fine now. And then we can do the same with our image here. So create a constant image URL. And as you can see, this is going to fetch it from the core as well. And if there's nothing, there's a fallback image. And I'm going to replace the name here. So instead of ACF gallery, this is going to be called image URL. Okay, so save. And as you can clearly see, the image is showing up. So this is working for our JavaScript file and HTML as well. So now we can tweak this a little bit with a bit of CSS, okay? So let's go back here. So I'm going to open our sidebar here. So I go to CSS, and then inside our CSS, we need to create a file that's going to be called style.css, okay? So style.css, okay? And before we start adding something here, we need to link this back to our property.html in the header, obviously, you know. So this is going to be a link. And then style sheet CSS. So we are in the folder it's CSS, yes. And then it's style.css. Okay, so this is the one here. Okay, so save, perfect. So if we start customizing this, it will reflect in the front end, obviously, you know. So we're not going to cover everything in detail, obviously. So I went ahead and created a bit of CSS code related to this. So I'm going to save this. And as you can see now, the image is smaller. So it's 500 pixels, rounded edges and all that. Okay. And then the details here, and then the button as well. And then the title here on top. So this would be the basic structure for your single property page. And then we can do the same with categories as well, obviously, So you could go to category.html here and then create a page. So I've done that already. So we can save this. And then we're going to create a category.js here also to return the results. So we go to JavaScript here plus, so category.js. Okay, and right here, we're going to insert a bit of JavaScript code. So following the pattern that we had, So step number 1, as you can see, is to fetch the actual slug and then fetch the taxonomy. As you can see, this is the type here, property type, and then slug, and then the name. So this could be a category like villas or maybe bungalows, etc., And then I'm going to load the property that belongs to this category with all the different details. Run a loop if there's more than one, and then finally return it. Okay, so if we save this, and now we go back here in the front end. As you can see, we have category.html question mark slug equals villas, and is returning 3 different listings because, as you can see, we have 3 different properties here. So Kylene, Meg Merker, and Mary's Bridge. And this is exactly what we have here with all the details. Now, clearly, we need to add a bit of CSS to jazz this up. We need to add a menu section, a footer section, etc., etc. So you have to spend a bit more time. But this is basically the main structure that will allow you to create such a dynamic website using only REST API and show all these properties in the front end. Very good. So now that we have our raw main structure in place and you understand how it works, now we can actually use a beautiful template, a CSS or HTML template that you can download online to save a lot of time. Obviously, you don't have to design everything from scratch, because if you want to rinse and repeat and make $5,000 per week, you need to save time somewhere, obviously, So now I'm going to show you how you can fetch any HTML and CSS template and how to link that dynamically using REST API. Okay, so for this, you can download any real estate HTML template that you can find online. So I just typed here real estate HTML template free download. As you can see, 38 here, a few more here, etc., etc. So I found this one here, themewagon.com. So I looked it up and it looks like this, and I think it looks pretty cool. So what I did is have a quick preview, and as you can see, that looks quite neat and professional. So let's go ahead with this one, Obviously, what I'm going to show you applies to any theme that you download online. So we can download this on our hard drive. And now we can open this in VS Code. So file, open folder. So this is the one here, real estate website from template. And I have a subfolder, property 1.0. So select folder. Very good. So as you can see, this is the main structure. So I have CSS, fonts, images, JavaScript, and all the HTML file in the root folder. Okay. So let's display this live. So index.html, and then let's go live. And there it is. You can see it's loaded up on the side. So that's perfect. And now we can customize everything inside here. And I'm going to show you how you can insert all the content dynamically via REST API. Okay. Now, because we have a slider here, that's going to get annoying very quick. So let's open any of those properties. Very good. So this is the page that we are actually going to customize. So we'll have the header here with our image, the content right here, and our images here by the side. So basically all the details will be displayed here by the side. Okay, so let's go back here now. Okay, and let's expand this a little bit so it's easier for us to see what's on the screen. So now obviously I'm going to show you how to customize one single page, which is this one here. So this one is the property single.html. But obviously the principle remains the same. Once you know how to do one page, you can do the same with any other pages. You can customize the other properties and even your home page and whatever, So let's go ahead with this one. So this one again, property single.html. So this is the one here. Very good. And immediately from here, as you can see, the content is static. So basically here, the title, 5232 California Avenue, 21 BC. This is basically fetching it from here, and then California, United States underneath. This is here as well, and then the text and so on, So these paragraphs and all that, again, like we said, this is static content at the minute. So what we need to do is to replace that with the actual content from our WordPress backend and display it here in the front end. Okay, so let's go ahead with this. So clearly, as you can see here, H2, we have a class name and then some content. So we don't need this because we're going to fetch this dynamically again, you know. But what we need to do is to replace all of these with an ID. So this one could be maybe ID equals, I don't know, property hyphen title, okay? And then for the paragraph here, as you can see, class meta. So this is basically our location, isn't it? I think so. Yeah, this is the location. So we could remove this and replace this maybe with an ID. So again, ID equals and maybe property location for this one, okay? And then here underneath we have some text. So there's a class name. So this is to apply some CSS. So we can keep that obviously, you know. So what we can do is remove this and replace that with a div. Let's call it maybe, let's give it an ID first. So property description, property, and then description, description, okay. And then we're going to give it a class ID. So I've saved it here. So the class is text black 50. So Control C and Control V. So this is going to be our description, okay? And then underneath we can have the image. Oh no, the image is right here on top. So we don't need the image right now. We can add everything else. So we had the price, the bedroom, the bathroom, and the area. So I've done that already. I've prepared that. So Control C, you can paste it here. So as you can see, now we have the property price, property bedroom, bathroom, and property area. And again, these are all IDs that we are going to use using the property single.javascript now, okay? So then we have our slider here with the images. So in our case, we only have one image because remember, is the pro version that allows gallery. In our case, it's just one image, so we can remove this. And again, same principles, you know, what you need to do is to create an ID and a class name, keep the same one, as you can see, image fluid. I'm going to keep this, okay, rounded for. So there you go. So this is our ID property image, class image fluid, rounded for, because in the CSS, you can round the images, which is a nice touch as well, you know. So we can save this for now. And obviously, as you can see, there is no more content because we need to fetch this dynamically, obviously, you know. So let's go ahead with that. So I've created the property single.js file already, which is empty at the minute. But I'm going to fetch the script and we're going to go through it together, okay? So same principle as before. I'm not going to bore you with covering this again. So basically, again, we're going to fetch the property by slug. So this is the same as before, WP JSON, WP v2, and then properties, and then the slug name. And I'm going to embed it to make sure that it will return a positive, otherwise it return a value of null. And then here we have async, so load single property. So we've covered that already, guys, okay? So these are our different selectors here. As you can see, query selector, we have the h2 title. So it will be, it will render the title. And right here, we have the location name, we have the property description, and the image gallery, which in our case is only just one image, but regardless, this should work, okay? So let's put this to the test. So let's save this and see what happens, and nothing happens, okay? So, oh yeah, we forgot to call the JavaScript on our page. So this should be placed just before the closing body tag. So we need to add a line of code here, which is the script. And this is the one here. So JavaScript property single.js, and then save. And there you go. So we have our image, we have the title, the location, but there is no description provided because remember, in our case with ACF, the field group, funny enough, I don't know why, but I never created any description. So we can add this very quickly ourselves. Okay, so this is a text area, and let's call this one description. Okay, so capital D here, sorry. There you go, and that's all we need. So save changes. Now we go to our properties. Let's open this one and let's type a description here very quickly. So there you go. I just copied and pasted something here very quickly. So let's save this together. Very good. So let's go back here and now let's refresh. So I'm going to click save. Very good. And no description provided. What are we doing now? So this is the description here, property description. Okay, so it's clearly there. What's happening here now? Description, where is description here? Oh, yeah, ACF, obviously. ACF dot description. Okay, so let's save this. And there you go, guys. So now we have the description displaying here and then the agent here. So all the details, you know, so this is the title, the location. So what I would do now personally is to add this image here in the background, load it dynamically, and the content here, which is probably going to be long enough, should be normally underneath this. So let's do that together, to fine tune this page. So we have the header here with the image. Where is it now? Property image. This is part of this divider here. So maybe in between those two, just after this, we can move the description. Okay, so let's fetch this. So Control X and then Control V. Let's insert it here, see what happens. Okay, so that's a lot better. This makes a lot more sense, to be honest, And now we can have the image here in the background instead, and then we can maybe remove this one altogether. What do you think? So here, this is our background image. So this should be part of our hero section here. Overlay, this is the image here style, as you can see, okay? So we can customize this as well, obviously. So again, for this, all we have to do is to give it an ID. So let's call it ID equals hero. Okay, let's keep it simple. So I'm going to remove all the spacing here. That's really not cool. So save, okay, very good. And now we go to our property single. And again, as you can see, I have this one here. And then we can reuse the same function as this, obviously, So instead of update image, let's paste this here. We're going to say update hero, okay? Hero image, okay? And then we're going to give it another name. So instead of gallery EL, hero element, and then assign it to the other place as well. So right here, and then right there as well. And then we're going to assign this to the specific selector. So normally it's image property slide. So this is called hero, obviously, So it's just hero. So dot hero. And then let's save this, see what happens. Okay, so the image is clearly showing here, but it's overlapping with this one. So we don't need this one anyway, so we can remove it for now. So there's no confusion. So where's this one here again? Image slide. So this is the one here. So we can remove all that section all together. There you go. Okay, so I'll bring this back here in the middle. There you go. And then save. Perfect. And as you can see now, the image is showing up as our hero section. We have the description, we have the title, the location, and everything is displaying absolutely perfectly. It looks really professional. So this is how you can create a very unique front end for your clients and drive the content dynamically directly from the backend from your WordPress dashboard using a little bit of JavaScript. Very good. So this is the most important part of the video, is how to sell it like a pro, because it's nice and well to know how to build it, but unless you know how to sell it, you're not going to make any money, obviously, Very good. So the first and most important point here is when you get chatting with your prospective client, never tell them that you're building a WordPress website. Otherwise, they're going to think immediately Fiverr, $100, and that's basically it. You'll never grab the real money if you say that what you're using here is actually WordPress as a backend and HTML and CSS in the front end. So how do you present that? How do you introduce that to your client? It's very simple. Tell them that you're offering a custom-built solution that's super fast to load, has an easy backend, and is designed to perform. Very good. So these are the main talking points to stand out as a professional WordPress web designer. In your case, you can define yourself as a web developer, because this is actually the case. You're not just a designer, you're actually developing a website here, okay? So as you can see, number one, I don't use generic themes. Your site will be fully tailored to your business. So make it clear, this is a bespoke website. You don't use templates or things like this. What we mean here by templates is a WordPress template, like a theme and all that, like most people do. This is custom built, obviously, here. And make the client know that you build custom solutions using modern methods. So, for instance, you can say custom frontend, ACF, REST API. Don't go too technical, but basically it's not just another copy like most people would have online, obviously, So second, they can update everything themselves, so no technical knowledge needed. Just access the backend, the WordPress backend, and they can change everything. Again, no messy Gutenberg blocks or complex builder. Just click edit and save. And then this site will load faster, rank better, and convert more. So this is important. This is one of the most important reasons why you're building this that way, is because WordPress is bloated. If you use Elementor and all that, it doesn't load fast at all. It's dragging you down, whereas here with pure HTML and CSS, well, it's super, super fast. Now, in line with this, you tell them that I separate design from content. Your site is easier to scale. So obviously, with the WordPress as the backend and custom frontend, you can redesign everything later without touching the content. So this is absolutely amazing as well, So you can tell them that I'll show you how to manage your content in less than 10 minutes. So promise simplicity, very, very important. Also, everything is built around result, no fluff. So make sure that you explain that it's all targeted and oriented towards conversions, speed, and SEO, which is the practical outcome. That's what they want. They want to rank higher. They want faster loading website for better SEO, obviously, you know. And then also, your website won't rely on third-party plugins to function properly. Obviously, WordPress, you keep updating and all that. It can break anytime. Here's pure HTML. Just the backend is using WordPress, so you don't need to update it continuously like most websites nowadays anyways, you know. And then you won't be locked in. Any developer can continue from where I left off. So make sure that you explain that your code is clean, just in case something happens to you. They want to make sure, you know, that anyone else can carry on, obviously, just in case, you know. Mention that just for trust and credibility as well, you know. And then finally, this setup gives you full flexibility if you ever need an app or integration down the line. Obviously, because you're using REST API, it's very easy for you to link that to an app later on, which is not always the case if it's just WordPress itself, because here the code is already in place. Well, there you go, guys. Now you know how to build it. You understand how it works. You know how to pitch it and sell it like a pro. So go out there now and get your first $5,000.